Morning, guys. We are, this is Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel. We're out on the old KTM 350X CF, doing a little single track, little mountain single track this morning. Bike just barely warmed up. I'm not exactly warmed up, but we're rocking and rolling. I was gonna take the 300XC this morning, and then I realized that the last couple of times out I was going on single track, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on single track mountain style, so I'm gonna take my baby, the 300. And then I realized it's been a while since I'd been out on one of these four poppers, so I decided to take the 350. And while this thing is more suited for me for higher speeds out in the desert, it's still a very capable bike, and as long as you know, are careful on the only thing is that where this has a harder time is in situations where, you know, you've got a lot of nasty stuff like that. I just came around the corner and there's nothing there other than me being used to two strokes, one that are able to drop much, you know, further down in the RPM range and stay going. So just adjust riding style like that. I just stay on the clutch a little bit more, and then these things will do fine. And you really do have to adjust riding style when you swap from the 2 strokes to the 4 strokes. There's no doubt about that. But I've come to enjoy these 4 poppers as well. You know, for alpine single track, I still don't think there's anything better than a 2-stroke, but truth be told, if the 2 strokes went away and I had to ride this all the time, I'd learn to be just as adept at it if I don't hit first gear or don't hit neutral. You know, one of the things that I've found with these KTM 4-strokes, both the 250 and this 350, is that the more aggressively you ride, the better they do. You know, and I'm not just talking about RPMs, although that's a big part of it. I'm just talking about how these bikes, because they're race bikes, you know, they just do better the harder I push them. When I'm being more timid, they don't seem to do as well. When I stay on the gas, RPM's a little higher, up on the pegs, just looking to be more aggressive, then the bike does better. And maybe that's partly because I do better when I'm more aggressive, I'm more intense, you know, with every one of my movements. This is really tight here. But that's just a general thing that I've noticed. It's so much easier to get the bike to perform when you've got your ears pinned back. It's a little tight here. Got my ears pinned back. But I think you get the point. this year when I rode the 2016 KTM 250 XCF, we got that and started to review it. The thing was so light and nimble that I wanted to get the 350 in the 2016, this bike, and see how it compared. So Sam kind of helped me out with the 250. He picked that up for me, and then I bought this 350. And to be honest, our schedules have not allowed us to actually ride both bikes back to back. Ride this 350 and the 250. And I don't know how, when this video will get posted. I've got such a backlog of stuff to get out on the channel. Hopefully very soon, or hopefully at some point, we'll be able to take this 350 and now his 250 out side by side and just do them back to back and see if the 250 really does just feel a lot lighter on the front end and a little bit more nimble. Because that was the overriding takeaway of that 250 XCF, is just that it felt so incredibly light and fun and flickable. And while this 350 feels very good, I'm not sure that it has that same feel. I mean, it feels light, just right there through that stuff. It feels light and good. I'm just not sure if it's as good. And the only way to know is to get them side by side, you know, back to back on certain sections. And then I think we'd have a lot better idea of, well, I know I'd have a lot better idea of what I think about the two platforms. Having said that though, if I keep this bike, this 350, longer term than the 250s, it would probably be because I want a change of pace bike. You know what I mean? I'll have my 300 two-stroke for a lot of the stuff I do, because it's my go-to bike. I just love it, like everything about it. But every once in a while, it's kind of cool to have a change of pace bike, maybe for doing desert stuff or whoops or whatever. And I'm thinking that this bike might be, you know, just that bike. I'm definitely not as comfortable on this as far as in the gnarly stuff, the real tricky technical stuff, keeping it running, because it's just harder to keep it going. But so far, you know, on this trail there's not been anything super technical, and I don't think there is anything super technical on this particular trail. It's just not that type of trail. Just some general mountain riding here. And this bike does great here in this, you know. It's just when it gets tight, slow, where I don't like the four strokes as much. They're just not as easy to ride, and I've been riding them a lot in the last year, you know. So it's not that I'm not comfortable on them. It's just that when the going gets slow, man, it's better to have that piston firing every time rather than every other time. Keep the dang thing